What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there cashing in on the tables. We've had a little bit of an up and down struggle on the cash games over the last couple days, but as always, we're getting in some great spots, a lot of interesting plays, lots of stuff to analyze. Let's jump right into the hands. The first hand we're looking at is pocket jacks playing from middle position. Folds to us and we open raise to 3x. Folds around to the big blind who just calls. Flop is 10 high rainbow. We have a pair over the board and continuation bets. This player that we are playing up against is a recreational player. Very aggressive so far. We only have 74 hands on this player, but has only shown down and won 14% of hands, which is pretty terrible. So this player does go to showdown with less than premium hands. So we put in the continuation bet of a little bit less than 2/3 of the pot, and we get check raised. We can tell by this player's pre-flop numbers that they are very aggressive, and they have a post-flop aggression factor of 3.3, which is also very high. So I think that this player would be making this move with pretty much any 10 or a big draw that could be out there with a king queen or a jack queen. We have blockers with the jack, so jack queen might not be in there, but a king queen, maybe a 7-8 with a outside straight draw. But I think there is a lot of hands within his range that makes this play, and that pocket jacks plays pretty well against. The turn is a deuce. If this player did have something like 10-9, we'd now take the lead. So I think the deuce didn't help out any of his hands, it only helped out ours. And he bets 2/3 of the pot on the turn. I just call here. The river is an 8, and there is 67-64 in the pot. We have 71-36 behind. Essentially pot committed here. If we were going to make all of those calls early in the hand, we need to be making a river call here. And he jams all in. I'm pretty much hoping that this player has 10-9 or some kind of 10 hand, or just on a straight up bluff, because this player does not show down very well. So I do make the call with pocket jacks, and we were up against kings. Against this type of player, a recreational player, I think it is pretty much just a cooler. You guys could argue with me that I should have folded on the flop bets, or on the flop check raise right here. This was the spot, if I were to get rid of the hand, I should have. And I think against a regular player, against a lot of different players, I would probably make the fold here. But just against what I thought was a fishy player, who might actually be a fishy player who just ran into a hand. But if we do make the fold here, we still have that much left in our stack. So I think that there could have been a mistake right at this point in the hand. Still at 100 NL table, we have pocket kings in the hijack seat, open raise to 3x. And we get 3-bet by Powell in the cutoff. I put in a 4-bet to $19. This 3-bet though is a pretty small sizing, and this player is pretty recreational, only 344 hands, has only 3-bet with premium hands. Kings are still playing pretty well against the premium hand range, so I do put in that 4-bet, and we get 5-bet to 43. This player has shown down well, winning 64% of showdowns, and we can pretty much narrow it down when he puts in this 4-bet. It's going to be aces a lot of the time. Some of the time it's going to be kings and we're splitting. I don't normally recommend folding kings, but there is some substance to the argument that you could fold right here. But I don't have that much discipline, so I jam all in like most players probably would, and he does make the call with the aces. Hits an ace on the flop, we hit a king on the turn, we got one out going into the river, cannot get there, and we lose that hand, get coolered. Is there anybody out there who would hit that fold button right here? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to know if any of you have the discipline to fold here to this player that we know only 3-bets premium hands and puts in a 5-bet of this sizing, which is probably going to be aces a fairly high majority of the time. Put your comments below. Can't wait to read those. So we are reviewing the session today on Hold'em Manager 2. If you are not using Hold'em Manager 2 and playing online poker, I highly suggest trying it out. You can get a 30-day free trial by clicking the link down in the video description. This one looks like it is going to be very interesting. We have 10-8 suited in the big blind, and we get raised by the small blind. Recreational player, we only have 17 hands on this player, but has played a 56% raise pre-flop and 75% VPIP, 20% 3-bet. That is crazy aggressive. So I'm going to try to get in a hand with this player in position. I do make the call. No point in 3-betting this player. We flop top pair. He checks. I bet 380. He check raises me. Again, this is a spot where I should have gotten rid of it. There's no doubt in my mind that this was a mistake. I just thought that this guy's crazy aggression, he would be doing this with a ton of hands, flush draws. I guess flush draws are the only one that we beat that would be doing this, unless he's got a lower pair and he's just bluffing it off. But definitely should have made a fold right here to the check raise. Big mistake. I make the call. Queen comes on the turn. He bets 19. I don't know how the hell I can make that call too, because if he was doing it with a flush draw, he just got there. I guess I just saw this player's numbers and figured he was bluffing it off a lot of the time. Well, you guys get to learn from my mistake. Maybe there was a hand earlier that I saw that he just made some crazy ridiculous play, and that's why I'm doing this. But he bets 36, and I was pot committed. Make the call. Ship over the 137 to a set of fives. This player did lose $115 in 17 hands, so there must have been some play before this where I had a read on him, and maybe that's why my stack was pretty large, but I just gave it back. That was an outside the box play, and hopefully you guys can learn from my mistake. Oh man, finally we get to see one that we win. This looks like it's gonna get interesting as well. We have 3 deuce offsuit, and I posted. I must have missed a hand in the small blind, sat out, something must have happened, but we get a limp to our right from a recreational player, and deuce 3 is one of those hands that you can bluff with once in a while. It adds a lot of value to the bottom of your range. I like to do these polarized plays where you can play a deuce 3 exactly like you would play aces. It adds a ton of balance to your game, and that's something you need to be doing when you're playing a lot of hands and playing against the same people over and over. You cannot make the same plays over and over and over. You need to change it up. Do something crazy with the low portion of your hands, because it will not only add value to the low hands that you play, but it adds value to your better hands, because they won't know whether you're playing some shitty cards or you're playing a huge pocket pair. We get called by the button, also a recreational player, pretty fishy numbers over the 31 hands that we have. And would you look at that flop, a 3 and a deuce. I come out for a little bit less than 2/3 of the pot, and we get a call. The turn is a 4, very draw heavy board. I put in a bet of 2/3 of the pot, and we get a call again. There's now 68-30 in the pot. Any ace got there with a straight, any 6 got there with a straight. A lot of those cards are going to be in this player's 61% VPIP, but when we check back, we can induce a lot of bluffs from missed flush draws. So I do check back, and we get a bet of 32.65. Pretty sizable, but I think we are going to be easily calling this off, pretty much calling off any bet here against a player who has also bet 75% of rivers. Yes, extremely small sample size, but that is a lot of betting on the river. So I do make the call, and we take down a pot of $131 with a 3 deuce offsuit. How often do you guys see a huge pot with a 3 deuce? Love that. This might be the first 3 deuce in the hand reviews that I put on a video yet, or at least $100+ pot with a 3 deuce. Alright, now we have pocket kings at the 50 NL table, middle position, open raise to 3x, button calls. We get a 3-bet from the big blind, who has 3-bet 36.4% of hands. That's pretty much any 2 cards in the upper portion of his range. That's crazy, you guys. I 4-bet here, make it affordable, $12. I can't see this player folding any cards. He jams all in. Easy call for me against this type of player with the kings. And I see an 8 deuce. 8 deuce. 5-bet jamming 8 deuce. Love that shit. Just have to avoid an 8 on the river, and we do, and take down that pot of almost $100 with the pocket kings against an ace deuce all-in pre-flop. The craziness in this one today. Now we have king 10 in the cutoff. The hijack seat posts, and we isolate here to 250. The button calls, and the cutoff also calls. Flop is king high. Two-tone, two clubs, we have the backdoor club draw. The cutoff leads out for about 2/3 of the pot. I make a call here with the top pair. The turn is a queen, and the cutoff comes out with a big bet again. And what do we know about this cutoff? Hardly anything. We have one hand on this player that he's bet every street with and didn't win. That's all we know. And it looks like he's going to do the same thing this time. Little did I know he flopped top 2 though, but I make the call on the turn. And there's our money card, the 10 of hearts on the river. We have 2 pair. He jams the rest of his stack in. I'm not getting away from it. When I make that call on the turn, I am pot committing myself, and I do make the call and see that we hit a very lucky river. But this player has played 2 hands, bet every street on 2 hands, and lost the showdown. That is wild. If you guys have not subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I am putting out daily content, lots of great poker analysis, and live poker action as well. I'm starting streaming a lot more, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Head down to the video description for social media links, as well as all the poker products that I use. All the hands that we are reviewing were played on America's Card Room. It is a great site for US players as well as players around the world. I highly suggest this site. You can use promo code DKPoker to get a $1,000 cash deposit bonus, as well as 50 tournament bucks. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. If you enjoy the poker content that I'm putting out there, give this video a thumbs up as well. Share it with any of your poker friends. Looking forward to those comments in the comment section, and I will be back with a new video soon, but until then, I will see you guys out on the virtual felt.